hope you're keeping safe and indoors despite the weather today. Good evening and welcome to Primetime News here on TV1, bringing you the news from the news desk. I am Sandro Sapijit. First, we take a look at headlines before we go into your news in detail. India wins the Asia Cup for the 8th time.
Our 8th Asia Cup final victory, what a victory it is.
I think it was today that we should.
President travels to New York to attend the 78th United Nations General Assembly. Amended anti-terrorism bill gazetted.
ආණ්ඩුව අඩියක් ආපස්සට ගත්තට නැවත වතාවක් මේ පනත ගෙනීමේ දැඩි බරපතල අවශ්‍යතාවයක සිටිනවා.
Cardinal says law is not enforced equally against all.
මේ රටේ නීතියක් කියලා එකක් තියෙන්නට ඕනේ. මේ රටේ නායකයෝ හැසිරෙන ආකාරය ගැන ලැජ්ජා සහගතයි.
Political stage heats up on investigations surrounding the Easter Sunday attacks.
බාරේ වලක්ව ගන්න බැරි වෙච්ච අයයි බාරේ පිළිවෙල චෝදනා තියෙන අයයි දෙගොල්ලම ආණ්ඩුවේ කිරීද පරීක්ෂණය.
Shooting opposite Maliga Kanda Magistrates Court. A 6-year-old girl dead. Father hospitalized. On to your lead story for tonight. India won the Asia Cup after beating Sri Lanka by 10 wickets today. Now TV1 was the official local broadcaster of the Asia Cup, and we brought to you all the action live on TV1 and on www.siriusatv.lk.
One mile for four. Oh, is that a chance as well? They go away for four.
Sri Lanka won the toss and elected to bowl first at the R. Premadasa Stadium today. The match that was initially scheduled to begin at 3 p.m. was delayed due to rainy weather conditions. Pathum Nissanka and Kusal Janit Pereira opened the batting for Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's first 5 wickets fell for just 12 runs. Indian pacer Mohammad Siraj took the wickets of Kusal Janit Pereira, Sadir Samaravikrama, Charit Asalanka and skipper Dasun Shanaka before they could put on any runs on the scoreboard. Kusal Mendis scored 17 runs while Dushan Hemanta was not out on 13. Mohammad Siraj took 6 of 21 runs, including 4 wickets in 1 over, as Sri Lanka were dismissed in just 15.2 overs after electing to bat. Chasing a target of 51 for a win, the Indian innings was opened by Ishan Kishan and Shubman Gill. The two openers steered India to the target in just 6 overs. Ishan Kishan was not out on 23, while Shubman Gill was unbeaten on 27.
Making decisions. Well, the fireworks are going off for one team.
Sri Lanka's head coach, Chris Silverwood, spoke about the performance of the team at today's final.
How would you assess this rather below par performance?
Well, I think you're right. It has been below par. Obviously, to get bowled out the way we did is very disappointing, and I think there's a lot of reflection to be done in the dressing room afterwards. We have not put our best foot forward there today, so it's very disappointing.
Yeah, coming on the back of a good performance by Pakistan, do you see an inconsistency creeping into the side?
I wouldn't say it's creeping in. I think today we've come up against a very high-class bowling attack. I thought Siraj was superb. It's already been mentioned that the Indian bowlers held a good line and length constantly and bowled with good pace and made our life difficult. But at the same time, I think we made his own life difficult as well.
Yeah, now Sri Lanka was depleted in the bowling, but they were not depleted in the batting. So how would you put down this debacle too?
Yeah, exactly right. We came in here with obviously some of the younger bowlers in the attack there, and I think it's been great because we've seen some of the young bowlers shine as well. Hatarana, Elegi, we've seen them really shine and come through. I think from a batting perspective, we've seen Sidira really come through and put some good performances. So there has been some good stuff in there, but today, unfortunately, it's just very disappointing. We're unable to back any of the performances up.
Just one final question. Looking ahead to the World Cup, I know it's very close. So how do you kind of look to recover from this?
Well, I think obviously tonight we have to sleep on this, and we've got to make some decisions in the morning, and we have to look at things moving forward, really. I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions asked amongst the selectors, everybody else, and certainly through my coaching staff as well. So I think it'd be best to assess this in the morning, obviously when the emotions have calmed down.
Sri Lanka captain Dasun Shanaka thanked the loyal fans who showed up to support the team today. and spoke about the positive experiences that Sri Lanka will be taking forward to the ICC World Cup.
Not much you can do on a day like this when everything goes wrong from the outset.
Yeah, see, it was outstanding display of bowling by Mohammad Siraj. So credit to him the way he approached the game. So it was a brilliant spell by him.
What was the pitch like in your view?
Yeah, to be honest, I thought it will be a really good pitch for the batsman, but with the overcast condition, it played a part. So yeah, bad day, tough day for us at the office.
In hindsight, you thought the application could have been better?
Of course, we could have tightened our technique a bit, which it could help our batsmen to get settled in and free our arms in that middle period.
Leave this game apart. What are the positives you take out of this tournament going into the World Cup?
There are a lot of positives, as I mentioned earlier. So Sadir Samaravikram and Kusal Mendis, how they batted in that middle period against the spin, especially in this turning track side. It's a very plus point for us, and the way Charit Asalanka batted. So yeah, again he's handling that pressure really well. So I mean, when we play in Indian conditions, so these three batsmen will score heavily in that good batting conditions. And also Dunit Vellalage, Mahesh Tikshana and Matisha Patirana, and not to forget two fast bowlers, Kasum Rait and Pramod Madhushan as well. So I think they will do well in that coming World Cup. So everyone know what to do and how to bounce back from the tough situations.
And you're looking forward to some of your main players coming back from injury?
Of course, without five main players, so we played this final. But good thing is we came to a final beating a good side. So it's a big plus from where we began before 2 years. So I think the players will continue the good cricket that they have been playing in last couple of years.
Well, tough luck today. Good luck for the World Cup and a good performance in this Asia Cup.
Thanks. At last, I would like to thank supporters who came in numbers. Really sorry about the fact that we disappointed you, but still, thanks for the great support. We as cricketers love you all. Thanks guys. And not to forget, at last, congrats to Indian team.
At the post-match press conference, India cricket team captain Rohit Sharma spoke about what they could take away from the Asia Cup.
Some of our batters actually batted under pressure. You know, the first game against Pakistan, it was a big game. And we were 4 down for 60 or 70, I think. And then, you know, 2 guys stood up for us, Hardik and Ishan, batted brilliantly. That's a big positive. You know, we wanted our middle order to get in there, you know, take the pressure, bat the way they want to bat, and they exactly did that. They batted the way they wanted to bat. And, you know, after a while we were very calm inside the dressing room because, you know, they were batting with a lot of maturity. Obviously, the batting in this tournament has been really good for us. So is the bowling, but at different stages, different individuals have stepped up. You know, against Pakistan, Kuldeep stepped up, took 5 wickets. Bumrah with the new ball, bowled a brilliant spell. And then with the bat, KL Rahul, honestly, it is so tough for anyone who comes in like that. Just 5 minutes before the toss, we had to tell him that he's going to play. Unfortunately, unfortunate incident happened there, and KL has to come in and play. And to get 100 like that, you know, shows the quality of the player, shows.
TV1 was the official local broadcaster of the Asia Cup, and we brought you the scintillating action live on TV1 and on www.sirasatv.lk. On to other local news now. Following his participation in the G77 Plus China Summit in Cuba, President Ranil Wickremesinghe arrived in New York earlier today to attend the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly in the USA. Now, this session themed Rebuilding Trust and Reigniting Global Solidarity, Accelerating Action on the 2030 Agenda and its Sustainable Development Goals towards Peace, Prosperity, Progress and Sustainability for All is scheduled to take place from the 18th to the 21st of September this year.
The 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly themed Rebuilding Trust and Reigniting Global Solidarity, Accelerating Action on the 2030 Agenda and its Sustainable Development Goals towards Peace, Prosperity, Progress and Sustainability for All is scheduled to take place from the 18th to the 21st of September. President Ranil Wickremesinghe is slated to address the session on the 21st of September, where he will deliver a special speech. The President will also participate in the 2023 Sustainable Development Goals Summit, where global leaders will outline strategies for transformative and accelerated actions towards 2030. The summit will be held on the 18th of September. According to the President's Media Division, President Ranil Wickremesinghe has also been invited to deliver the keynote speech at the Indo-Pacific Island Dialogue for Maritime Nations. In parallel, he has also scheduled bilateral discussions with several state leaders participating in the conference.
World leaders meet at the United Nations next week in the shadow of geopolitical tensions. High on the agenda this year will be concerns of the global south, in part of a reflection of the increased attention put on the developing world by Western nations. Several top-level meetings happening during the General Assembly focus on priorities of developing countries in Africa, Latin America and Asia. Climate, health, financing for development, and how to get the sustainable development goals on track. Russia's war in Ukraine will again be a focus of the annual gathering in New York, with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky attending in person for the first time since the conflict started. Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Cardinal Malcolm Ranjit, said the manner in which the law is being enforced against those responsible for the Easter Sunday attacks shows that the law is not enforced equally against everyone in Sri Lanka. I must say this for the 273 people who died in the Easter attacks. The leader of this country has decided to appoint a separate committee chaired by a retired judge and 2 others to analyze the content of the Channel 4 program. I would like to ask the leader of our country one thing. In the past, a parliamentary select committee was appointed and many close associates of the country's leader functioned as members of this committee. These are all distractions. There should be a law in this country. The manner in which the country's leaders are acting is shameful. There is nothing else that can describe their actions. Appoint more committees, but we know the end result of all of these committees. There is no justice in this country. The rulers of this country have made no attempts to implementing most of the recommendations of the Presidential Commission. They speak of appointing new committees, introducing a new constitution and amending laws. They are trying to introduce a new law called the Anti-Terrorism Act. Sometimes these leaders act like terrorists, so laws need to be introduced to control them. The law is enforced differently against different people. That can't be the case. If there is a law in this country, it should be common to all. We cannot act with scant disregard for other people's lives. If someone is in trouble, we should be responsible for their life. Was there an investigation regarding the details revealed about Lasantha Wickrematunge's death by Channel 4? Was an honest investigation conducted to look into who was involved in his murder? Was a proper investigation conducted to determine who was behind the murder of former MP Joseph Parrajasingham? How many people died during the past 15 to 20 years without a single case being heard? The same will happen over the deaths of the 273 people. It is not suitable for our leaders to lie to the global community and disregard the reports presented in Geneva.
His Eminence Cardinal Malcolm Ranjit expressed these views while attending the service held to mark the 125th anniversary of the St. Mary's Church in Kalamulda. Minister Manush Nanakara says that the government will not hesitate to take legal action against those responsible for the Easter Sunday attacks.
We will take legal action under this government itself. Only through a proper investigation can we find out who is wrong and who is innocent. We will not hesitate to punish the wrongdoers. As a government, we will not hesitate to take action against anyone. There is a question as to if Channel 4 is right or wrong, or why they release this now. Because this is the time when the United Nations sessions are taking place. And if they are trying to attack our country, then we are against that. We are on the side of the country, but we are not on the side of the wrongdoers.
The leader of the Jathika Jana Balawegaya, Anurakumara Disanayaka, says that conducting a proper investigation into the Easter Sunday terror attacks is problematic for the government because both those involved in the attack and those responsible for the attack are in the government. He made these remarks at the Kinya electorate meeting of the Jathika Jana Balawegaya held yesterday.
When we unite, they have united too. The next presidential candidate is ready. Who does Chandrika support? Ranil's government. The next presidential candidate, Mahinda. Who does he support? Ranil's government. The next presidential candidate, Maitri. Who does he support? Ranil. The next presidential candidate, Gotabaya. Who does he support? Ranil. The next presidential candidate is Ranil. He supports himself. The presidents, prime ministers and finance ministers all the way from 1994 are in the government. They have all come back to the field to play the final innings. What is the primary reason for Gotabaya to win the presidential election? The Easter Sunday terror attacks. This began in 2017, then the attacks happened, and on the 25th of April, Gotabaya said he will contest for the presidency. And on the 10th of May, he said that he will defeat Muslim extremism. A former coordinating secretary of Pillayan clearly said that. But an investigation must take place. They funded the creation of racial tensions with Sinhalese extremism. Now what has happened? Those who could not prevent the attacks and those who have been accused of being behind the attacks are all in the government. Will they conduct a proper investigation? What did they do? They cornered us all. We did not develop as a nation. The rulers divided us. That is what they did.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa said that the responsibility of the Wickramasinghe government should be to reveal the truth about the groups behind the Easter Sunday attacks.
The Easter Sunday attack was an incident that was orchestrated to benefit a certain group of people. Why is the government so hesitant to reveal the truth to the people? It is a great puzzle. The responsibility of the Wickramasinghe-led government should be to investigate and reveal the truth behind the Easter attacks. We strongly condemn those taking political advantage over the corpses of those who died in the attack. This country needs to hear the truth. We can see that the government is attempting to conceal the truth. We are challenging the government not to hide the truth behind this brutal attack.
රජයට අපි අභියෝග කරලා කියන මේ ප්‍රස්ත ක්‍රියාව පිළිබඳව සත්‍යය සංගවන්නට උත්සාහ කරන්න.
Now, the anti-terrorism bill has been the talk of the town in Sri Lanka for months. The legal community alleged that even the newly gazetted anti-terrorism draft bill creates an environment conducive to severe human rights violations. Now, this bill was gazetted yesterday and was titled the Anti-Terrorism Draft Bill.
The government first presented a draft named the Anti-Terrorism Bill on the 17th of March this year. There was criticism both locally and internationally that if this draft bill becomes the law of the country, it would pose a very serious threat to the country's human rights defenders, trade union activists, minorities and even journalists. With the mounting criticism of the gazetted bill, the government decided to amend it. The new anti-terrorism bill was gazetted again on Saturday. This was done on the direction of Minister of Justice, Prison Affairs and Constitutional Reforms, Vijayadasa Rajapaksa. What are the differences between the anti-corruption bill presented by the government on the 17th of March and the new draft bill?
Based on the new gazette, there are no serious changes between the new draft bill and the old one. The definition of the third clause has not undergone any serious change. Only one subsection has been removed. Apart from that, everything else is included in the gazetted bill. A person with the intention of wrongfully or unlawfully compelling the government of Sri Lanka or any other government or any international organization to do or to abstain from doing any act with that intention organizes a protest, and if that protest obstructs a public function or public facility under this act, such a person can be named as a terrorist and detained.
මේ පනත යටතේ ත්‍රස්තවාදියෙක් විදියට නම් කළා රඳවා තබා ගැනීමේ හැකියාව තියෙනවා.
The legal communities of the stance that these provisions is clearly aimed at suppressing the general public of the country.
දැන් මේ මොහොතේ ඒකට තියෙන අවශ්‍යතාවය මොකක්ද?
What is the need for this provision now? What is the government doing right now? They are increasing taxes, imposing various bars to the general public, suppressing the people, privatizing state institutions and selling them. If anyone stands up against these actions, they can be named a terrorist. Then when they say international organizations connected to the government like the IMF, the conditions imposed by the IMF to release funds from the bailout package at all conditions that will adversely affect the people of Sri Lanka. According to Section 3, if a person obstructs this international organization connected to the government, that person can be named as a terrorist under Section 3. Next it says, or any other government, it could be the Indian government. They are bringing in investors like Adani and selling state assets, including whole islands. At a time like that, a person acting against that could be named as a terrorist under this act. Thereby, by expanding the scope of this act, the people who are fighting, demanding for their rights can be branded as terrorists.
අරගල කරන ජනතාව ත්‍රස්තවාදීන් ඉදිරියට නම් කිරීම සඳහා වූ ප්‍රතිපාදන මෙහි අන්තර්ගත කරලා තියෙනවා.
News first with the people.
The organized crime is a fashionable name given to basic thugs and their works, you know. We have to conduct first criminological research like other countries like UK, US.
We went on with the phone analysis and now they are using WhatsApp and all the web tools and the social media tools that they have.
The people don't respect the law, they must be made to fear the law.
Have you all identified the masterminds behind these groups?
Yeah, of course. All are identified. Even now, during the last 3 months, there were 31 shootings carried out by the organized crime groups.
As a police, as an organization, they must get together and discuss where they went wrong, and they must discuss how best they can find investigators.
Face the Nation, Wednesday nights at 9:30 on TV1.
Sirasa TV, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, presents the All-Island Art Competition on World Children's Day, the 1st of October. Under the theme, Children Above All, for the little painters who paint this world with color. To register, WhatsApp your name, school, age and contact number to 076 599 7788. On World Children's Day, 100 chosen participants will progress to the final round where they will be painting live. Winners will be awarded valuable gifts under their respective age categories. On this year's World Children's Day, Sirasa TV and the Ministry of Education come together for children above all.
The criticism that has been leveled against is that EPF is going to be completely sort of wiped out, 50% of the value is going to be lost. Has no basis, right? We have to be fair in our criticism as well.
Now we're talking about the 13th Amendment. Now we're talking about Kachativu. Now we're talking about fishing. Can you see how the narrative is changing from year to year? We've forgotten what India did for us last year.
Sri Lanka as a destination should be a traveller's destination and not a tourist destination.
We must be able to reach out to those countries. Are we reaching out to those countries? We are not doing that. We wait for them to come here. Some years ago, when the fertilizer issue came up with China, we waited. The Chinese foreign minister came here to sort it out.
On the one hand, the public debt office of the central bank is trying to find the cheapest possible funding for the government.
Newsline, Monday to Friday at 8:30 p.m. on TV1.
Welcome back to the news. In other news now, Parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa says that Sri Lanka's economy will become the fastest growing economy in South Asia under a government formed under the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna.
The Tangol Balamandala meeting of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna was held yesterday and was attended by parliamentarians and ministers of the SLPP, including Namal Rajapaksa.
As a party we are now developing. We were torn down and mud was slung at us. We were even called thieves. No matter what happens today, they say that happened because of the Rajapaksas. In a few days, they might even say that Prabhakaran started the war because of the Rajapaksas. But I must responsibly say that we do not talk about the elections. Under a government led by our party, not only will Sri Lanka's economy grow once again to being the fastest growing economy in Asia, but we will also make Hambantota the fastest developing district in all of South Asia. What is it called? Channel 4 or whatever. We don't even listen to them. Channel 4 is good to provide amusement to the people who cannot defeat the Rajapaksas. All the parties went to Galface. Why is that? Because they all wanted to attack the Rajapaksas. That is why we are standing strong with him. We were given the responsibility and we brought Gotabaya Rajapaksa. We had the idea of one leader, one vision and one law, but he could not control it. When the next presidential election comes, we will tell you what happened. These are in the box that holds state secrets. Who chased Mahinda Rajapaksa away? Who was behind this? We will tell all of this when we give in nominations for the presidential elections. Until then, we shall be silent. We would like to remind you that the next president and government will be elected from the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. Mathura is where most of the political action was seen when the nominations were handed over for the local government elections. But I have screenshots of 7 people who were with us and then later contested from the helicopter. Now they have left the helicopter and are speaking against the leader of the helicopter. The helicopter party could not even protect their own candidates for the election. That is why the people after 1 year have now understood the truth.
The power dynamics in Sri Lankan politics was discussed today during an appreciation ceremony held for the senior members of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party's Yatinuwara electorate.
Politics is uncertain today. The one who is there today will not be there tomorrow. The one who is there tomorrow is gone the next day. That is how it is. Most of us here might have voted for the former president. The highest number of votes for President Gotabaya Rajapaksa from the Kandy district was from the Yatinuwara electorate. What did we think? We thought that President Rajapaksa will be capable and intelligent. We thought Sri Lanka will prosper under his leadership, let alone bringing prosperity to the country. Even he doesn't have a proper place now. That is the nature of politics.
On to tragic news that made headlines this evening. A little girl fell victim in a shooting that took place near Maliga Kanda's magistrates court, and the girl's father was also injured in this attack. Now, the victim who died in the shooting was a 6-year-old girl who was a resident of Kotahena. According to the police, 2 gunmen on a bike had opened fire and later fled the scene. The shooting had taken place while the victim's father was traveling back from courts after he was produced in court on charges of possession and heroin and was released on bail. Now, Sri Lanka police said that the shots were fired at the 3-wheeler in which the victim and her father were traveling in. That's a wrap of Primetime News. And that's a wrap with Primetime News this evening. Bringing you the news from the news desk, I'm Sandro Satyajit signing off. Have a beautiful night.